Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. So, in honor of Hank Aaron, his amazing career and life, I want to go through and look at a scouting report that has popped up online of him. Now, I've seen a few different scouting reports, but this is the most recent one that I've seen up on Instagram. And so, let's go through it. There's a couple of interesting things on here. We're going to look at kind of what this scout thought of Hank Aaron when he was a really young ball player before he ever got to the major leagues. We're also going to compare it to Spencer Torkelson, who was the number one pick in the MLB draft this past draft. And we're going to look at how scouting reports have changed over that time. So first, let's check out the report here. So we've got some basic information on him at the top. First thing that kind of stands out, he's a shortstop. So at this point, he's 18 years old. Not a big guy. He was never really a big guy for someone that hit 755 home runs, 5'11", 170. I'm sure he got, he's only 18 here, so he continued to put on a little bit of weight. But he's not, when you think of a home run hitter, especially someone that hits that many home runs, you think of this big, huge guy. And he really wasn't that big and huge. It's a slender build here. But he did have incredible bat speed if you watch some of the video of him hitting. His bat speed was outrageous, obviously, to be able to hit that many home runs. If we go down to looking at his hitting, his running, his fielding, biggest thing I think that stands out to anyone that looks at this is that his power was rated as fair. Now, again, he's a young player, and a lot of times they'll say that power is kind of the last thing to develop in most hitters, especially where he wasn't a big, huge guy. I'm sure he didn't hit balls a mile at that point, or maybe just when Billy was watching him, he didn't. But clearly, he developed the ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark. You don't just accidentally hit 755 home runs. So a little bit of a miss there on this scouting report for power. But again, it could have, I'm sure it continued to develop and get better. So the other thing that really stands out to me is just there's not a whole lot of detail to this scouting report, right? We have a couple of goods. We have a fair. For running, we have fast. Good habits, good hustle. He's not married. Yes, he is a prospect, and his strength is that, he has all-around ability. He's a good player, but it's very vague, not a whole lot of detail. Again, we'll show what a scouting report looks like today in a minute. So we keep going down. We see the scout watch 3 games. He thinks it's going to take him 4 or 5 years to get to the big leagues. Now, here's something interesting. He did not attend high school, and it says that Aaron has very little baseball experience not having attended high school. His experience has been confined to Sandlot and 3 months this year with the Indianapolis Clowns for the Negro Leagues. I recommend bonus. So really interesting that he didn't play high school baseball, doesn't have a whole lot of experience except for playing Sandlot baseball. You talk to any person, my dad's age or older, and all they're going to talk about is how great Sandlot baseball was because they could go out there and play every day. They could play for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. They'd run out there in the morning. They'd play all day long until someone started screaming at them at night to come home for dinner. That's how much they played. So I get a lot of questions all the time about, do I have to play travel baseball or organized baseball here or there? The biggest thing, if you want to get better at baseball, is just to play baseball. It can be in your backyard. It can be down at the Sandlot. I know not a lot of players do that anymore. It doesn't have to be an organized thing. If you have the opportunity to play organized baseball, yeah, that can help you, clearly. But it doesn't. If you can't do that, that's not the only option. You can go down, grab your friends. I know, again, it might be a little bit harder nowadays. You got to pull them off the video games and all that stuff. Now I sound like my dad. But you can go out and play at the park. Just play a pickup game. Okay, before we get to today's scouting report, let's just look at Hank's numbers here. So you can see the home runs are crazy. He's going to average, most seasons he averaged right around 35 to 40 home runs a year. And he's so consistent. He does this, he comes up as a 20-year-old. And he does it all the way until a 42-year-old. Now, I know his power dropped off, obviously, at 42 years old, but it's amazing the career that this guy had. Again, one of the greatest players to ever play. 755 home runs, so a little bit better than fair power. Look at all the all-star games that this guy played. How many times he was in the MVP discussion and won an MVP. So we don't have to go over all that. I think everybody knows how great of a player Hank Aaron was. So now let's look at Spencer Torkelson's scouting report. So a little bit different report here. So you're going to see first, you got this nice little picture here. You got his age, his date of birth, you got his height and his weight. So normal stuff. You got his Twitter in case you want to follow him on Twitter. Then you go down here and you get your scouting grades. This is a 20/80 grading scale. All right, so 20 would be not very good. 80 would be unbelievable, right? You don't see very many 80s. And so you got a 60 here in a hip, a 40 on a run, a 50 on a field, a 65 on power, a 50 on arm, and a 65 overall. So in the other report, you see a lot of goods and fairs and strongs. And now here you have a number grading scale just to give you a little bit more insight on exactly where the scouts feel, or at least this scout feels, that he ranks as far as his tools. And then you have a written report, and this is where a lot of details really come in. You can see that he wasn't drafted out of high school. He played for Team USA and in the Cape Cod League. He put up huge numbers as a sophomore, again, before playing Team USA again. Then we have some comparisons. You see that he compares to Andrew Vaughn, who played at Cal, who was a number 3 pick in the 2019 draft. He controls the bat extremely well. He draws a ton of walks. He's able to drive the ball from foul pole to foul pole. And he uses the middle of the field when he's at his best. He's able to hit the ball out to all fields, tremendous loft power to the pull side. Doesn't sell out for that power, but he gets it done with ease. Defensively, he's worked very hard to improve at first and is very comfortable there. He's taken some ground balls at third base and also played some left field where he's adequate. But it's going to be his bat again that gets him drafted high. So there's just another look at how scouting reports have changed from the 1970s to 2020. So let me know if anything else stands out to you. I just thought this would be really cool and interesting to look at. Thanks so much again for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we will talk to you later.
If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about building the elite swing, check out our new course. We have over 2 hours of content, almost 30 hitting drills. We break down the exact mechanics that you're going to want to implement into your swing. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.